Josh, finally, I just wonder if you can sort of sum up how you're feeling. It's been a long wait and a long build up to this.
Very long wait. Build up, yeah, the build up I don't think has been that long, but we was always preparing for this date anyway. From, wow, I don't even know, around August time. I kept himself training, but I never knew when I'm going to be back. And then rumours of my return started circulating around August. We were looking at November, then December, then January, then February. So we've just had to see it with the camp a little. You know, times when we've had to drop off and just drop the intensity. Then they announced the opponent over the new year. That was something to focus on. When the date cemented in, it was nice to focus on that, because then you've got a real countdown. You know that it's not going to change a week here or there. Now that might not seem like a massive thing to most people, but for a fighter, when you're counting down the minutes, never mind the days and the weeks, you know, it means a lot. So it has been a long time coming, and 15 months is a very long time for any athlete in any sport to be not active. But I've prepared the best I can in the gym. You know, I don't doubt that there might be a few cobwebs and a bit of ring rust in the first couple, but I think once I get into my stride, you know, I'm 30 fights deep, 11 years of pro, I'll be all right. I'll be okay.
I know you're very much going to be focusing on the future, but when you get announced on the night, it'll be the first time you get announced as a former world champion. I saw the video, which you made light of, you know, no point bringing the belt anymore. Yep. I wonder if that, what words you would use to sum up all that. Is it frustration? Is it painful to have to give up a belt that you won in the ring, and you have to give it up, not in the ring being beat by a better man, but you have to give it up to do what you want to do? You have to sacrifice that, and you have to take all of the criticism that comes with that.
I'm prepared to do so, because people are a little bit naive at times and a little bit fickle. They can't see what I can see and what the rest of the team can see. We're not finished. It's not like, oh, that's my only belt and that's the only belt I'm going to win. I keep on saying I'm going to go on and win more belts. You know, potentially maybe move up and become a two-weight world champion. There's a load of little goals out there. Yeah, nobody wants to lose a belt like the way that I did. You want to lose it on your shield. You want to lose it by getting dragged out ring by your ankles, not by the politics of boxing. But, you know, to be honest, when it came out and the news went out, I didn't have much time to dwell on it, because I've still got a fight to prepare for, and mentally, my head needs to be on that. So for me, it wasn't a case of moping about and sulking, or my belt's no longer there. It's there, it's at home in my wardrobe. It's still sat there. You know, I'm still unbeaten as a champion. I just don't have that belt, but like I say, it's not the only one that's going to be part of my career. I believe that February 13th is a return. After that, we could potentially get a few big fights in this year, and I think there'll be belts attached to all them. So by the end of it, when I've won a few more belts and I'm, you know, an official world champion, people won't even be talking about this IBF one. And plus, you look at history, there's a lot of fights, great fights out there. Not everybody could tell you what belt were on the line during that fight. Sometimes there was just been international belts on the line. I mean, a fine example, Warrington, when he boxed Castillo. I think they boxed for a WBC International and an IBO. All right, there might have been a final eliminator on the line, but in terms of belts, you're not looking at that, are you? You're looking at what the fight is. So there's plenty more to come.
Yeah, I mean, Gatti Ward, there was a 10-rounder for no title, and nobody ever talks about
exactly.
that. It is the last one on this. I just wonder if you ever, you strike me as someone that's very thick-skinned, and you don't flick on social media and take it too seriously in that. If there's one thing that you can't have levelled at you a lot of the time, it's that the Leeds Warrior is a very apt nickname. You box people that no one gave you a chance against. Yeah. You went in the, you know, I know it was on your terms a lot of time in the Lion's Den, but you know, no one really thought that you'd beat Selby, no one thought you'd beat Frampton. For then people to flick online and see people saying, you know, he's scared of Kid Galahad, or he's a coward for giving up his belt. I wonder if you give too much thought to that in your reaction to it.
Not really, because it's the same people who pat you on the back as well. When you go into these barnstorm whatever fights, then people who said you're going to get your head punched in by Selby, you're going to get your arse handed to you. They're the same people who said, knew he'd do it, I knew he'd do it, yeah, I said all along. Listen, like I said, there's a lot of fans who are pretty fickle out there. A lot of people are forgetting that I could have not taken that fight first hand when he won mandatory first time round. You know, people were saying you don't need to fight him, he's a drug cheat, blah, 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 blah. We still give him the payday, we still give him the platform, we still give him that a bit of attention. I beat him. You know, you go on to CompuBox, see the punch stats, beat his punch stats, the main man on the night, give it to me. So that's it. It's like, I'm not going to go back over old business when there's bigger fights out there for me. And like I say, them same people who would say I'm a coward or, you know, I'm a disgrace for giving up my belt, they'll probably be patting me back at the end of the year when I go do what I'm going to do. I may add, Andy, in all the times that I've been in the limelight, so to speak, and it's been about 6 or 7 years now, you know, there's only been ever one person who's confronted me about his opinion, and after that he shook my hand and got a selfie. So, you know, I'm not saying that people are intimidated by me about when I walk down the street, but people are quick to have an opinion on there, and then if they see you out and about at boxing shows or wherever, it quickly changes. Yeah,
I bet it does. Let's look forward to the future now. Mauricio Lara.
Yes.
There is no point in saying too much about him because there isn't too much to say. Would you say that you feel that you're a level above him, and regardless of what's in front of you, you have to produce a professional and ruthless performance on Saturday night?
Yeah, most definitely. I think the most important thing is getting that W, making sure I win. That is first and foremost, but like I say, I want to do it in style. And I kind of feel like I've been in this scenario. My last fight was just like that. You know, I'd beat Kid Galahad coming off of him, Frampton, Selby, and see, 3 names right there, you know, all in a row. How can people say anything about being a coward? But anyway, after that we had the touch. Now, before that fight got announced, the promoter at the time had just announced the date. Everyone thought it was going to be the unification fight. The unification fight couldn't be made. I think it was against Shakur Stevenson. So we ended up with Takuch. And it was like, to keep that dream alive, you've got to beat this guy. Ended up going out and stopping him in 2. Now, I've got the factor of being in a bubble for the first time. Like I say, 15-month out, so all that to contend with a little bit. But, yeah, we've worked hard and we've worked on a game plan since this opponent's been announced. We've worked on a game plan on how we're going to treat this fight, how we're going to take it. And you're right, Andy, for me to be going in and calling out the bigger names, you know, your Kanjus, your Guy Russells, don't want to be just scraping over the line with a points victory. You want to be either a big shutout of a dominant performance or finishing the show early. So we know what we've got to do, and it adds a little bit of pressure. You know, if his CV doesn't show that he's a world beater, I make my own little bit of pressure because I know what I need to do. But that's what we're part of this stage for. I mean, look around, all these things here on the wall. In order for that to continue, to go and have the big box office shows, to fight him for the Ring Magazine belts and the WBC belts, it's about getting through every little obstacle put in front of you, and it starts February the 13th.
2 more questions, because I know you've got lots of commitments. On the night, in your dressing room with your dad, Nick Manners, it is literally the most laid-back, positive, funny atmosphere. But you always know that once you leave those dressing room doors, that you've got those fans on. It's a bit of a lazy comparison, but they're like your 12th man.
Yes.
And you know that they're going to raise you up, come what may, and you march on together. Just, it's so sterile over there. You know, you're not going to have that same energy and that same buzz. What are you going to do differently to try and get yourself in that that mentality of, it doesn't matter, I'm going to walk through fire to get this?
I'd like to think that I'm experienced in that department. Once the first bell goes, then it's all splinkers go on. You know, there's been times of my career where I've had to do that. You know, when I first started coming through with Sky, the hype train was Josh Warrington's the next Ricky, and he's a big ticket seller. I'd gone from just being an English champion to British, European, Commonwealth, stopped some big names, beat like Rendell Monroe, Martin Lindsay, knocked out the European guy, and all of a sudden I had hype and pressure, and I let that all get to me, and I was trying hard to impress the fans. I mean, 2015, I had 10,000 people there. Vinnie Jones doing ring walk. Only a year later, I was fighting in a bloody leisure centre with 600 people there. All of a sudden, there's 10,000, and it's like everywhere where I'm going, I'm walking a room, I'm a god. Now, throughout that, I didn't give my best performance. I let my mentality get distracted by the crowd and everything else. So I had to learn and adapt to just focusing on what we need to do. And you know, I think I've had 16 or 17 title fights now. Headlined the Leeds Arena 10 times. Fought Manchester, Ellen Road. I think I've come through all these big scenarios, and yeah, it is going to be different. You know, I've learned to keep my composure right until we're about to walk to the ring, and then I let the adrenaline start flowing. It is going to be different when I stand on that ramp and I look around, and normally when I meet eye to eye with other people, I start going. But I think once match not given an eye to predict a right, come on, I'll be good to go. And like I say, once that first bell goes, it's just time to go work.
And what is your target list? You mentioned Gary Russell, you mentioned Kanju, Emmanuel Navarrete as well. What do you want to do? A win here at the weekend, and then what do you want next?
Oh man, if I had a bucket list, like the world really is oyster at the minute. You know, there's so many big fights out there, so many big fights for the fans, so many what you could probably say, you know, it would have been an absolute barnstormer. So Kanju, obviously, 1,500 punches in a fight. You know, that's going to be an exciting fight. Gary Russell, you know, he only fights once a year, but he's got a good gob and he has got skills. That'd be a good fight if that come out. Navarrete, Mexican pride, comes forward, just wants to be in big fights. Talked about unifying already. That could be a potential big one, but there's other people around as well. Leo Santa Cruz has already talked about staying around 126. That's a fight that I've been talking about for many a year. That's his promoter to let him fight. Oscar Valdez, I know he's in action week after us. Joseph Diaz, we were rumoured to fight at one point back in 2017, so there really is a big option, but I want to take care of the business at featherweight first. So that would, for me, a perfect scenario would be Kanju, Guy Russell, and if I could squeeze Navarrete in there, fantastic. If not, there are opportunities to go up to 130, then I'd take it.
You've also got an added motivation with you've got a beautiful little family and you've got to get back to them on Sunday. Can you just explain the significance? So fight night, February 13th, then what's the ideal scenario?
Get done, stop at a McDonald's drive-thru on the way home and get home, because Sunday is my little girl's third birthday, and already they've had to sacrifice daddy. You know, over Christmas time, want as playful as I normally are. I've been reading bedtime stories for the last 5-6 weeks, and it might seem like a minor thing. Some dads out there might, you know, be glad to get rid of the kids, but I'm a massive family man and I love my kids to bits. And this is precious time. You know, they're at a stage now where they're taking everything in. They're real bold characters. So I just want to get the job done, get home, and celebrate the third birthday with them.
They let a cat out the bag as well, as all kids do. You had a little bruise on your arm, and on the clip that we let out, they said Daddy slipped in the gym and got a black eye and got a boo-boo. So who knocked you out in sparring? Well, why are the girls telling everybody this?
I've seen someone put that, and it would easily be to say that, you know, I've been put over, but no, it's hard to explain to a 3-year-old that I've been punched. You know, I don't want him to turn into violent. I don't want him to turn into boxing if I can help it. So just, it was easy to say I've fallen over. I need a plaster. I've got a boo-boo.
Better than saying mummy hit me. So
yeah, exactly,
there you
exactly.
go. Thank you very much.
No problem, Andy. Cheers, mate.